G'day YouTubers, and thank you for tuning into today's very strange video that I'm making on the pre-bed night. As you can see, I've got a bit of a very nasty looking red eye, as you can see here, going by the colour difference. My eye is a little bit painful, but I think it's getting a little bit better, so wink, there you go. Hopefully it should start to feel pretty much better though. But in this video, I actually thought I want to make another meteorology type video, so instead of just being a bit cold and callous, I just hope everyone didn't get the cold shoulder. I'm very sorry I was quite ranty earlier on in the afternoon. But in this video, I'm going to be doing some more meteorology, and because I'm actually getting into a bit of a meteorological sort of mood in a sense, I actually want to show you the weather forecast. And despite the fact that we had a thunderstorm, it was only a brief one actually. I'll just go ahead and grab the webcam. Ah, just how free I did. That was very free of me. Hope that webcam is nice and fluid and free without actually having any faults, of course. So what we're having at the moment is a yellow warning of wind, and that's because we have got extratropical cyclone Agnes. Can you see it on the left hand corner? This is extratropical cyclone storm Agnes. I call it Hurricane Agnes because I'm just a nutter, like a lay person who just don't know about storms, because I'm just crazy and just making a whole bunch of very weird fan-doogly stuff for people who are into like toy reviews and meteorology and blah blah. But this is a meteorological video, so I'm going to be doing this. Just be very warned, there's a 15-minute time limit pop-up thing. It's going to pop up sooner or later in this video. So yes, we've got Storm Agnes. There you go. Less than 15 minutes left. I'll just close that because I'm making a video. I'm just going to be doing it for about 10 minutes, of course, which is a nice duration. So as we're waking up until Wednesday from tomorrow, we have got the storm at the very end. On the top here are some thunderstorms. Luckily enough, they didn't bring in any tornado-like conditions because, mind you, if you had so much warm updrafts up in the atmosphere, well, you're going to have so much tornado-like conditions, like, you know, you're in Kansas. That's the weather forecast that we've got on Tuesday. But let's take a look at the weather forecast that we're going to be taking a look at on Wednesday. So this is the forecast. I mean, just because the storm is going to make landfall doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have a huge total of deluge rain. In fact, I mean, as I said this again before, so here is, it looks like a prawn, or it could be a bird. It looks like that's a very, it looks like, holy shrimp, what is that? It's like the shape of a freaking dolphin. That's weird. Anyways, let me just go ahead and scroll it. There you go. The storm is now broken into like several chunks, and there you go. The storm is basically conquering the rest of the UK. Strangely enough, it does nudge in towards these parts of the UK, but it does sort of narrowly miss Birmingham, which is a tad strange because we are expecting light rain in the forecast. So where is the light rain? Okay, the light rain overall. Okay, so maybe I didn't show you that one properly. If I go back to full screen, if I go to bring this one here, the long forecast, so we've got some very isolated showers, some thundery activity, maybe heavy showers, just normal heavy showers, and possibly not thunderstorms. But let me just scroll through. This is Storm Agnes. You can see that the green indicates the total amount of rain. You know, the yellower the icons, or the yellower the hue, the higher the precipitation, that being rain. And as I'm just scrolling down, also the whiter it is, it just tells you how much millimeters of rainfall you're going to have. So it's going to dump straightforward mainly in this part of England, that being the northern parts of England, and also like, you know, the west of Scotland, also parts of Wales, but also the Midlands and central parts of England. In fact, just to actually recall on what we had earlier on this morning, as I grab, why am I just clicking on random stuff? Am I supposed to just heading back to bed and just rest for tomorrow and rest my freaking eye? Anyways, without just ranting too much and babbling about, I've got Lung with me, who is like my assistant anime character cursor that I've just customly created. So what we had earlier on was that we had a batch of very heavy, if not very thundery activity. Most importantly, the night was very mild. It was like 10, 11, 12, maybe as high as 15 degrees Celsius. I might be totally crazily absurd in the way I forecast the weather, of course, because it's all down to the jet stream and also different pressure systems and also different wind directions and wherever it comes from. Like, for example, the hot air coming from like the Sahara and North Africa up to the Mediterranean and whatnot. But hey, so we've got, what we're having is a southwesterly wind, but because we've got ExtraTropical cyclone storm Agnes, it's not like a cyclogenesis type weather bomb event that we're having at the moment. So here it is, it's about to make landfall. Of course, we're going to have some very strong winds, so that means coastal areas are going to be completely overwhelmed. Trees are going to get blown away, and some properties might be damaged and might be overwhelmed and might be susceptibly, I wouldn't say vandalized, but more like destroyed. Some traffic and transport services might actually be delayed, especially public transport, because of how strong the winds are and how heavy the rains are. So that's my bit of prowess in the way I show a bit of meteorology. And then on Thursday we've got another band of what I would probably guess like an Atlantic frontal system, like an Atlantic low pressure system, just moving up all the way, working its way from the west, squaring to up towards the UK, and just sort of, and oh my goodness me, the weekend nearly nudging, missing out. Of course, yes, I'm just forecasting a whole bunch of spoilers, sorry about that, but I'm just focusing on Storm Agnes. So the winds are going to be like 40 miles per hour, and on the coast it'll be like bloody 75 to 85, maybe 90 miles per hour. I don't know. Hopefully it's not, you know, hurricane force winds. I'm just hoping for that. If it is, well, we'll all be totally dead. And we have nothing much to say, but that's it. So here we are. This is Storm Agnes making its way. Can lead to disruptive flooding. It can also damage people's properties, especially buildings and stuff. And it seems like that this is another world of climate change. And I'm just scrolling through of just how extremely volatile this storm is. And it is also the very first storm of the 2023/2024 windstorm season, because I do know that we already had previous windstorms back then in the summer of 2023, that being Anthony, and is it Betty? I think I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm not the biggest meteorologic buff slash expert slash enthusiast, but I really do enjoy looking at meteorology, because whether I get too hot, too cold, too wet, too windy and too dry, well, it's a sign and a very pure, great big nature for us British people to, you know, describe about. We love enjoying, we do have the passion of complaining and moaning and groaning and whinging and blah blah all over about the weather, of course, that we have in this country. We do tend to demean about the whole British weather phenomenon that we've been around for like years, if not centuries and millenniums. It's kind of weird, isn't it? But anyways, I think that's about it in this meteorological video. If you really enjoyed in this much more sedate meteorological video, please give this video a like. I hope it was more enjoyable than the first one that I did, which was quite ranty because I talked about thunderstorms and they actually hit, and they're just hitting us right here. But hey, even though the thunderstorms may have made landfall in Birmingham, well, unfortunately, the bots that they detect the lightning on have unfortunately forgotten about Birmingham. But maybe they didn't. They just did it as a bit of an on-purpose error. That's just what I'm thinking of. So here we go. There's Storm Agnes. Can you see that? That really is Storm Agnes. Watch how it goes. Just before I start to end the video. There you go. It just, you know, it just literally separates and just degrades. It just deducts itself. Look at that. It's just decaying, isn't it? Look how the storm is making landfall. But wait until on how what the storm is going to be like, because, well, this is just an expectational thingy bob. I know the winds are going to be fairly, if not very persistent throughout, you know, Wednesday and also into Thursday morning, But hey, that's my nice intake of a bit of meteorology, and that was nice of me just blabbering all about it. So anyways, thank you so much again, and bye for now. And also go back to sleep, because I do know that the days are getting shorter. Bye for now.